Hello, everyone. This is Waleed AlHamdan from CX SanX. It gives me great pleasure to get a person with me who's covering a different section from a CX level. Iman is one of my new friends, I could say, who I was introduced through a great platform. And thank you for internet to give me that opportunity to know Iman. Iman is living in France, originally, I think so, from Morocco, if I'm correct.
Yes,
She has
absolutely.
multiple nationalities, mashallah. She has lived in Spain, she has lived around the world. A great stories to have from her side. She's covering the transformation from a technology perspective for the CX. So she's the mind behind building a lot of transformations, either in Europe or outside of Europe. Iman, I'm giving you the floor. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Waleed. Hello, everyone. Thank you also for this great introduction. So, as you stated, Waleed, my name is Iman. I work as a customer experience and digital transformation senior advisor. I have started my career, working in the consulting field, and I am still doing this until now. I have started my career working in Germany, and today I moved to France, so where I have done a part of my studies. And I work on digital transformation projects where that are very broad. So I'm going, for example, to tackle some issues that are like related to customer experience or even user experience whenever we are on a digital device. I also, specialize in data more and more like lately, because through digital transformation, we also deal with some data analytics, and it has a lot to do with customer experience. There is actually a very strong correlation between both, as most companies are trying to get to know their customers a little bit better, so they really need to have this customer insight. And this is where the data comes, the data part comes into play. And on a more personal level, so as you said, I am originally from Morocco, so this is where my parents come from. But I consider myself to be a global citizen, as I had, a quite international upbringing. I lived in 3 continents, in countries like Germany, France, Switzerland, also South Africa, Brazil, and this really helps me until today, to be able to speak several languages with my clients, but also to understand a little bit better these cultural nuances whenever you are working from someone who's from a different culture, I would say.
Think so. I think so. Having a multiple culture, or and being you know the chance to interact with multiple cultures even gives you an advantage. This is what I see from a lot of my friends who have multiple cultures. They have the advantages, like using multiple. If I take it from a technology perspective, using
Yes.
multiple. Like those in Windows, and using multiple languages for coding. That's exactly how you can have the capability to do interact and really help companies to really excel, because that's a huge advantage. You understand all of these areas and have that expertise. Okay, so let me start. My
Yes.
first, as I say, my first question: what is the link between CX and digital transformation? From your
Great.
thoughts, what do
Yes.
you see?
Well, I think that to properly understand the link between customer experience and digital transformation, we really need to understand the definition of each concept, because then it will be able to understand the synergies a little bit better. So if I start with the customer experience on the one hand, it's basically represent how customers interact with a brand throughout the entire journey. It's a concept that encompasses all touch points like marketing, sales, customer service, and even like the product usage at the end. And customer experience, it actually works through the digital but also physical realms. So it's very broad. On the other hand, we have digital transformation. And digital transformation is basically like when you introduce some digital technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, or even data analytics, as I was explaining before, in order to be able to, into a company, so you introduce that into a company to be able to change the way it operates. And usually, like when you use digital transformation, of course, your goal is to improve and enhance like the customer experience, but also the employee experience to some point, because there's actually a very strong link between the two. And now, if we move into the link, so basically, based on what I have said, digital transformation, it's really the thing that enhances customer experience. It's how does it enhance it? Since you are going to implement some, I would say, some digital technologies into the mix, this is how you are going to achieve slowly and surely a better customer experience for your client. So I think to give a very, I would say, a better example of what I'm saying, there is nothing better than giving a success story, from my experience. So this happens actually last year when I was working for a European leading retail client. And basically, in this experience, what happened is that prior to my, to coming on board on this project, my client was really struggling to make some personalized recommendations for its clients. So whenever it would send some promotion, it would always rely on very generic offers. And of course, you know this, Waleed, it's not very useful because people don't resonate with things that are very broad. They need something that is very personalized. So basically, my team and I, so I was leading this project, and my team and I, what we did was actually implementing a strategic digital transformation by implementing a data, customer platform that we call CDP, and also integrating some machine learning algorithms to be able to understand a little bit better what the user preferences needs are. And the way we have worked on this mission was through some certain steps. So the first one was really to dive in and empathize with the client to be able to understand what their user preferences are, what they need, what their needs are, what their pain points are, and based on that, we have come up with the idea of implementing a customer, data platform. And at the same time, we have also organized. So the goal of this data platform was to organize a customer information information through various channels. Then the third step was to also to integrate some advanced machine learning algorithms to analyze the data and consolidate everything. And obviously, the last step, it was to establish this iterative process. And when I say iterative process, the goal is to be able to collect customer feedbacks and also to be able to make some amendments as all the time until the desired outcome is achieved. And in terms of results, what we have achieved is that we witnessed an increase in the customer satisfaction level. We also noticed an increase in the buying, from customers because they were able to receive more personalized offers. And finally, I would say the personalized recommendations and also the improved customer experience, they have enabled to strengthen the customer loyalty and also to improve the brand image. And basically, through this success story, I think it's a very good example of that shows that when you use digital transformation, of course, if it's strategically executed, it can be really a very positive force on the customer experience of a brand.
So basically, each customer or what relate you have linked the needs and the requirements of a customer to the right customer. So basically, you have designed the persona from the persona who is the customer and what are their needs, and you have built a smart machine that can identify exactly, let's say, I like a special chocolate, but I like dark chocolate, an example, with
Yes,
some kind of nuts or
absolutely.
especially which are from and the same brand. So collecting that data is that you have dig all the purchases which were previously done by me and my family. It could be that because it's a tree under
Yes.
it until you divide. Wow, that's amazing, honestly. I think so. How much time did it take you until you have built it?
Well, basically, this project was around 6 months. Lasted around 6 months. So we also, especially in the beginning phases of the project, we put in place a methodology that is very well known in the digital transformation world, and it was actually the design thinking. So this part was actually the one that lasted some time, because like the first part of this methodology is like to empathize and really try to understand what the customers need, what their preferences are, what their pain points are, and then based on that you're going to like really be able to build like a tailored strategy.
What's one of the challenges that you have faced? For sure,
Yeah.
I know because from my experience, I know the first challenge that any digital transformation uh, person like you, if that a challenge could be that the data are corrupted, the data are not correct.
Yeah.
This could be a challenge.
Yes.
Or it could be that things are not integrated correctly to give you the right outcome for you to read to understand. So, what were the challenges in that project?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question. I think there were many challenges. So the first one is like, since to be able to like to offer a more personalized product recommendations, you need to have some customer insights, and customer insights literally mean you need to have data on your customers. But whenever you speak about data, it's not easy for many reasons. The first one is that whenever you speak about data, there is usually like one challenge that I think most people that deal with data are facing, and it's really like the data privacy. So customers, like, even if it's you gave an example of like chocolate, even if we're only speaking about chocolate, some customers do not want to give some personal data regarding their preferences. So just like the fact of being able to collect the data, that was complicated, because of data privacy issues. The second issue also is that even if we had data, not all data that was present within the company was actually data that we could use. In the data world, usually like you have certain data, but not all data is organized. So basically what you have to do is that you collect the data, then you have to be able to analyze that data, and then you have to like kind of filter it a little bit to see that the data that you need and that is going to be useful for you versus the data that is actually useless. So this work of like analyzing the data, cleaning the data, this is the proper word that we use in our field, that was not very easy to do. And also, I would say the third challenge is whenever you have the B2B already. When you work with a client, and you have to collect the information from a B2B place, it's actually complicated because people, they don't really want to answer. They don't want to have to take the time to give you like the information that you need. But imagine when once you are doing it with a direct client, it's even more difficult. Like you can send some surveys, you can send some forms to be able to have the data that you need, but of course not everybody's going to take the time to do it. So that was a bit of a challenge, but we managed to solve it.
Mentioned the design thinking.
Yes.
This is an approach which I really see perfectly fit for the changes that are happening in the world. So the design thinking approach, it's linked to CX, and what's the value for business of it
Mhm.
if you implement the design thinking?
Yes. So first, what is design thinking? So design thinking, if I use very simple words, it's basically a very smart way to solve any problem that you can have. And because you focus on the customers, and also because you work together with them to find the effective solutions. So why is it very powerful? Is because you actually, throughout the entire design thinking method, you are going to be working with the client, and this is actually very powerful. You're not just like, making decisions for them, and then you develop a solution and you tell them, oh, okay, it's your solution, then now you can work with it. The client is actually part of the process from step 1 to step Z. To step Z. So it's actually like a toolbox that is going to help you solve all your problems by tackling one after the other. And usually design thinking, so it's actually a method that is comprised of 5 steps, and you have to follow them in this order. The first step is called to empathize. Here, what you have to do is actually to be able to communicate, ask questions to the direct users, to be able to understand what their pain points are, what their user preferences are, what their needs are. And then based on that, you're going to make a small conclusion that is going to be very useful for the second stage. And the second stage is called the definition. In this step, you need to clearly articulate what the problem is, because in the first phase, clients are going to share many pain points with you, but then some pain points are going to come more frequently than others, and you're going to be able to articulate what the clear issue is. Also, when you do that, you're going to pinpoint all the challenges and the core issues. Then the third step is called the ideation. Ideation is like really the step that you're going to have the most fun doing, because basically you don't have any limitations. The only thing that you need to do here is brainstorm, think outside the box, and imagine how you would like this solution to look. And you can really think about everything, and then you're going to, you can put your ideas and into place through what we call a prototype. And this is basically the fourth step, which is called a prototype. So a prototype is like a visual representation of the end goal solution. So here you have to kind of put into paper or put into the computer what the final solution is going to look like. And then in the last phase, which is the fifth one, it's the testing phase. So as the word clearly states it, you are going to test many times the solutions, and you are going to make some amendments. You are going to iterate. You are going to keep doing changes until you reach the desired outcome from the user experience, from the users. So, and of course, you test this prototype with the users, and as long as you keep testing the prototype, you are going to keep collecting feedback and implementing this feedback and keeping it into the loop until you make all the desired, how may I say, solution at the end. And so this is really about the approach. You have to follow these 5 steps in this following order, but it doesn't mean that it cannot be iterative. So for example, if you are in stage 4, like the prototype, and you see that there is an information that is lacking, you can go back to the first stage, which is empathize, and ask many questions until, as I said previously, the desired outcome is there. And what is the value for business? Well, the value for business, there are many answers. The first one is that it really ensures that the solutions really nail what the users are looking for. Like their preferences are taken into the consideration, their needs are taken into consideration, and also we are going to do our best to not so that the solution is not painful to use, and that it's very it's perfect. The second thing is like this method, since it is comprised of 5 stages, it actually provides kind of a framework that you are going to follow, so you cannot really be lost. Like if you are in step 1, you know that you have to go in step 2 and then step 3. So as soon as you have like a roadmap, as soon as you have like this roadmap, it's actually very easy to break down big problems into smaller problems. And once, as you say in English, to eat the elephant bite by bite, as soon as you have something like very small, it's actually a lot easier to use it. I would say a third value for business, according to my opinion, is really I would say the testing phase. Since there is a testing phase, you actually can avoid some costly mistakes along the line, because when you test it, you actually can see all the bugs that may exist in the solution, and you're going to solve them. You can avoid like paying some extra money along the road, because you are going to make the amendments as every single day. And then most importantly, the design thinking. Why does it have a huge link with customer experience? It's because it basically boosts the overall customer experience. Since it is focused on the customer needs, and it also deals with like finding the right solutions, it will inevitably improve the customer experience at some point. And it can improve it by creating some innovative solutions, by testing and refining ideas, until, of course, we have the desired outcome.
When you implement the design thinking methodology, it really helps that understanding, building the right solution, reaching the right targets, because what we can see that there are, unfortunately, one way, well, as they say, one way understanding, which is, it could be the customer. The customer is, I know that this is what I need, so this needs to be built this way. I don't see it the correct way. I see that it's not just the customer understanding. There has to be even the understanding of the customer, which is the user, the end user, and even there are multiple sources that you can. So let me ask you, what are the best digital experience methodologies in your opinion?
The best digital method experiences, I think there are many. Of course, there are so many, depending on what you'd like to achieve. But the ones I can think of are, the first one is called UCD. So it's basically the user-centered design. And this method revolves around prioritizing the user's preferences throughout the design and development phases. So it has a lot to do with the design thinking. So that's why you have the word design in UCD. And this approach is going to integrate their needs, their preferences, and also their pain points throughout the entire process. So when we started our conversation, you spoke about persona, and it's actually very relevant, because in this method you are going to to use some techniques like customer research, persona creation, or even like usability testing, to be able to ensure that the final solution is actually very user centric. So I would say this is the first digital method that I can think of. Another digital method, it's the responsive design. This is actually very important, and it will continue to be important in the upcoming years. Responsive design basically means that you have to make sure that your solution works in all channels. So what I mean by this is that you need really to make sure that your solution is going to work on any screen size and any device. Like, for example, when you do some online shopping, you are going to see that you can do some online shopping using your computer, but the best sites that actually are responsive, they enable you to do your shopping directly from your computer, but also directly from your phone, and no matter like the device size. And this is what is called the responsive design. You have to be, you have to think about, all types of customers, especially like the youth. They use their computers a lot to basically do everything. So you need to think about them too. I would say the third digital experience method is, the performance optimization. Performance optimization, it's like when you fine tune your digital platforms to achieve like quick loading times. For example, once again, imagine you are doing shopping on your computer. Every time you click on a certain link, as a consumer, you actually expect it to load very fast. And if it doesn't load very fast, it's going to be a bit annoying. So around this performance optimization, as the word states, you are going to make sure that each website, each solution, no matter if it's a website or not, is actually loads very quickly. And then I would say the last, maybe a last one I can think of a a best method in the digital experience. It's what we call the user feedback mechanism. And here, so user feedback mechanism, what does it mean? It means that you have to, as a company, you have to look for ways to actually, capture the voice of the customer, and you need to think of interesting ways to do it. Of course, implementing some surveys can be a good example. Adding some forms can be a good example of how to capture, the voice of the customer. But you can also, find other tools, some innovative tools to be able to really like make sure that the customers give you their opinion and that you can amend and improve the solution.
So يعني from a person who's in your level of expertise, just this is a question maybe out of out of the concept that do you see having everything under one umbrella, a one technology platform that serves everything, or having multiple solutions that really adds value and making them speak perfectly together from an integration perspective, and having like a platform like the governance platform that really governs all of that. So where do you see is the best fit?
Well, I think in an ideal world, it would be like good to to be able to master all types of solutions, like all the methods. But we have to be honest with ourselves. Companies, they have a budget, so in this budget they actually need to make very informed decisions to be able to to allocate this budget for XYZ, and they cannot actually allocate it for other things. I think that the right answer is that you really need to to think with the clients and help them really like start from step zero and really think about what is their goal, what is their goal as a company. And also they also need to have a very good understanding of their client persona. And what I mean by this is, let's take an example of a retail company. And this retail company, it sells clothes, but these clothes are actually made for, I would say, a younger audience, someone like a Gen Z and things like that. Whereas the people like from the millennial generation or even the baby boomers are not very impacted by this brand. So for this particular client, it's not very useful to think about having all the solutions. I think that's what is going to be very important for this particular client, is that we need to implement the responsive design method, because basically we know this is a fact. Members of the Gen Z generation, they shop using their phone, and it's not very necessary. So it's not very necessary to focus so much on I would say the website, but you will have to focus on making sure that the experience is very seamless and it's very smooth whenever you are on the phone device. So this is an example. And if we take like other clients, maybe they will have another need. So I don't think that there is like one answer, one size fits all. It really depends on the client that you have, on their budget. Even with the budget, maybe for some clients the main challenge will be to find ways to actually motivate their staff, and to motivate their staff, and by motivating their staff, they're going to improve the customer experience, because like when the staff is happy, then the customer is happy. So this is a way to allocate your budget. Another way to allocate your budget is when you take a look at your clients, and it really depends, like if you for going from client to client. So I would say this is my answer. How do I see the future of CX? I think the future of CX will we're gonna see several trends that actually we do see today, but I think most importantly they are going to stick around in the next years. The first thing that I see is that the ongoing acceleration of a digital transformation is set to continue. So it is going to continue. And I think that to stay ahead of the games, companies, they really need to invest in digital infrastructure. They need to optimize their online platform. They need also to integrate some advanced technologies. And by doing this, it means that they are going to involve, it means that they're going to incorporate some AI algorithms for chatbots, or even implement data analytics to be able to get to these customer insights. Another trend that I think is going to stay. It's what we call the hyper personalization. It means that you need to be really, really close to your clients and personalize every single thing that you do, whether it's in the way you communicate with them or even like when you make some product recommendations to them. And to be able to address this trend, I really believe that businesses, they really need to focus on gathering and also analyzing this customer insight. And of course, this is where the data role plays a huge part. Moreover, it's also going to be very important to leverage AI and machine learning to really accurately be able to predict what each individual client preferences are going to be, and to be able to stay relevant in the market. Let me see something else if I can think of a third trend. I think another trend is everything regarding the customer feedback. Is basically it will be very important in the next years and even in the current year to think about ways to get customer feedback in real time. So you're not gonna wait until the experience is done, like for example the product usage and so on, but you are going to collect and find ways to collect the customer insights on every single step from the beginning till the end, to really make sure that you're going to predict some problems and of course impede this from happening in the future.
So now we have spoke of the future. Do you see any challenges that will be faced in CX from your from what you have saw in your thoughts?
Absolutely. I think we find challenges everywhere, and customer experience is not going to be different. I think there are many challenges. So the first challenge that I see a lot is that the customer journey today is actually very fragmented. And what I mean by this is that basically what you're going to see is that customers, they can interact with the clients using various methods. A first method, that could be through social media, it could be through email, like for smaller businesses, of course, it could be through physical stores and so on. But sometimes when you look at the omni-channel experience, it's not there. Meaning that, I can take an example, Starbucks. So Starbucks is actually very worldwide known, but it's a company that's in the past, and even I would say a little bit today, is really struggling with this issue of fragmented customer journey. Basically, what happens is that Starbucks has an application. This application allows customers to place orders, and then once they place orders, like for example they're doing something else, once they go to the store to be able to pay, they actually cannot benefit from their in-app promotions. Like in their applications, they can see that they have a promotion, they add it, but once they go to the cashier to pay, they see that this promotion is no longer working. So it's something that really pissed off customers, and it even impacted the brand image and the how reliable people saw it. Another challenge, and we have spoken so much about it today, is the lack of personalization, and really the big difficulty for companies to personalize their recommendations and also their communication with clients. And of course, it has a lot to do with data, is because data is not there is so much data in the world, but the data that you need is not there. And also even if you have data, something that is also another challenge that I didn't mention earlier is because within a company you have different departments, and one department can have certain data that is very relevant for you, but since the department do not communicate with each other, they are not going to send you this data that you need. And this is something that we call data silos in our business. So data is everywhere, but there is no communication between the different departments to to really reach a knowledge that is okay for you. And I think an example for this lack of personalization is actually Blockbuster. You certainly know it. It was the competitor of Netflix, but not anymore, because they have they basically almost disappeared. And this is really a perfect example of a brand that chose to really stick to the standard way of doing business. They actually did not care about personalization, and unfortunately they have suffered so much from it, and this only benefited competitors like Netflix, which today, like, they are really good at making some direct product recommendations, like movie recommendations, and Blockbuster is really not relevant in the market anymore. That's it. And let me think of maybe another challenge. Well, I would say it's the challenge of, like, finding a way to really balance the automation and also the human touch. And what I mean by this is, today for companies, it's actually very difficult to find the right mix. We know that the more you automate certain things, you are going to be very your performance is going to be good, because when you automate, you gain time. This time you can allocate to other things, but you also need to stay close to the clients, and finding the right mix between how close am I going to stay to the client, and what should I personalize. It's something that companies have a strong difficulty finding a solution for. And I think that a better counterexample, basically, of a company that does this very well is Disney. So Disney theme parks basically has found the perfect mix of automation and the human touch. So, for example, everything related to, like, when am I going to buy the tickets? How can I, certain things that I can do through an app. This they have chose to automate it, to make some automation. But whenever it is how do my kids speak, like, with the vendors, how immersed my kids are going to be within the Disney theme park, this they have chosen to maintain the human touch and the human connection, because it's really better. Of course, when you take your children to Disney, you're not expected to have only robots everywhere, but really also a certain level of closeness with the people that work there. So, for example, with the princess and so on.
My only last question: doesn't this transformation, you feel that there has to be a limitation, because you have mentioned just now there has to be a limitation between the automation and the personalization?
Yes.
And when do you put the human touch,
Yes.
and when do you put an example? We have a lot of companies, a lot around the world, it's not Saudi only, around the world, is that when you do, let's say, a transaction, a purchase,
Yes.
it's a one touch and it's done. The money from your side is gone and you have purchased. But take it the other side around, put it from the other side. Now you have a complaint.
Yes.
The process it's never the same one touch and you are done. Only I saw it in one company here in Saudi. One
Okay.
company, it's a delivery company.
Okay.
That when you do the order and everything is done and you purchase, or you do this order, an example, the order reaches to you and you say it's either not correct or something, immediately they embarrass you and they give you back the money. They don't even ask. They don't
Okay.
ask you what. This is what I love about them. They are not perfect. I'm just highlighting on truly a very different level. They give you that okay, I don't want to give you the hustle that you will come and go through the process, give me a picture, return it back. It has to be this policy. No, done, finish. I trust you. And I saw this and I learned it honestly when I was in American Express.
Okay.
Immediately, when there is a fraud on your card, they trust you.
Okay.
They trust you 100%. For sure, you don't do it multiple times and say,
yes, of course.
okay, that will be a big problem. And
yes.
they will stop you because they have
Yes.
a system that to see that. So, yes, 100%. I think so. What scares me is that the difference between personalization and automation and the human touch. This is something that really gives me shivers, as they say. That
Yes.
because what's coming later in hospitality and all of that in the guest experience is that you're giving a memory. You're building a memory for a customer.
Mhm.
Building that memory happens be that when you humanize this transaction, it's not more than that. So from my side, would you like to close it? It was an amazing session with you, Iman.
Thank you.
What would you like to close the session with?
What I would like to close the session with, well, I'd like to finish with a conclusion on the this very amazing topic of digital transformation. Usually, like a lot of people don't really know what it is. They see this thing and they are really scared. They don't know what it encompasses. And actually, I think it's very important, and I'm very happy that we have gotten the chance to speak about digital transformation, because if we only speak about customer experience, of course we know what it is. Like it is everything that you're going to do in order to improve all the touch points and in order to improve the entire, I would say, customer journey. But above the customer journey, there is the customer experience, sorry, there is this huge umbrella of digital transformation. And every single time that you would like to make some optimizations on the customer experience part, you actually need to apply other concepts that come from the digital transformation field. Like whenever you are trying to make some personalization, you actually need to work a little bit more on your customer data. This is something, data analytics, it's part of the digital transformation part. If you want to implement some other technologies to be able to to improve your performance, you're going, for example, to make some machine learning, some AI, or some IoT. And I think that today, in this session, we have really gotten the opportunity to speak about, these two concepts and really understand how they're linked, and see that, there are very big synergies between the two. And if you really want to have my advice, for my clients all the time, and also, for the people that are going to be watching us today, is really to always take a step back and really try to see where this customer experience, where they would like to take it. And based on that, based on their goals, they really need to open like this toolkit that is the digital transformation part, and be able to make some amendments until their desired outcome is reached. So this is like really, I would say, the conclusion based on the topic that we have spoken about today. And also, a conclusion, I would say, more personal. It was a pleasure from my side, to be able to speak with you today. And yeah, so I'm available, to catch up again. And then I'm especially like available on LinkedIn. So for any people who would like to reach out to me, or even like conduct some business, so I'm very flexible, and I can work, with with people coming from different places in the world. And yeah, so I think my LinkedIn will be above this video, so feel free to reach out to me, and I'm sure very good things are going to come out of it.
So I'm happy to have a person in your caliber to introduce, and for sure, please, everyone who would like to reach out to Iman, we will add her LinkedIn profile, so you could directly reach out to her. And I hope to see you, يعني, with a project here in Saudi. Honestly, it's it's something that really I encourage you to do if it happens, and I'm more than happy to support in that area. And wishing you all the best. Happy New Year. Wishing you a successful and happy for you and your family and everyone, all your loved ones, and stay warm, please.
Warm, although it's very cold.
Stay warm, and thank you, and wishing you all the best. Thank you very much, Iman. Thank you.
Well, thank you too. It was a pleasure speaking to you again, and take care. Happy New Year also. I wish you achieve all your professional endeavors. So thank you again.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye bye.
This was Waleed AlHamdan from CX SanX. See you everyone. Bye.
See you. Bye.